Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I very much appreciate it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Amy Louise. I'm an online coach for women who want to get jacked and lean and also do some business mentoring for personal trainers. We are in the process of my contest prep. I just looked actually, and we are 13 weeks into the diet, 13 weeks as of tomorrow into the diet. And we have 9 weeks to go. So we are 9 weeks out. And I thought I would give you a little bit of an update. I'll chuck in some training footage. Maybe I'll be speaking over it. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do. And I've got my cat next to me and she may attack me any moment. So first things first, how has this prep gone over the last 13 weeks? Really well. So up until 2 weeks ago, I really hadn't experienced very many prep symptoms, I guess, like fatigue and irritability and hunger. And it happened really sharply. So in the last video where I was 12 weeks out, I was sort of saying, maybe I'll get irritable, maybe I'll get tired, but I hadn't really noticed much. And I think it was straight after that video at nighttime, just noticed being quite hungry before bed. And it was maybe like 4 out of the 7 days of the week. And then last week I really started to notice just subconsciously movement had way dropped, and I found myself sitting or laying again more than usual. I say again because I remember when this happened back in 2016, and I was at the start of building my business on the gym floor, and this is embarrassing. But I was actually often sitting down whilst I was watching my clients lift. So I was like sitting on the floor next to them because I just couldn't stand up. And not that that is happening now. I'm really lucky that I get to work from home every day and I can just sit at my desk, but I definitely have noticed incidental movement is dropping. And of course, that's really why we have a set step count and cardio. It's just to make sure that if I didn't have a step count and didn't know what I was doing, my daily activity would only probably be 2,000 steps. That's all I kind of want to do right now. And I'm at 12,000 at the moment. So just to take you through what we're doing, I've got 12,000 steps a day. I've got 2 bouts of cardio, a total of 125 calories burnt each. For me, that just takes me anywhere from 23 to 25 minutes to do. So that's twice a week. And then I have 5 training sessions to do. But other than that, that's it. The deficit, still the same calories, about a 30% deficit. I think it's really manageable. I've broken that up into, I think it's 6 meals. I've called I have some milk in my coffee and I've made that meal 0, but I think I still have 6 meals, which is spreading my food out quite nicely, making sure I'm getting my protein across the day. And my last meals are sort of happening anywhere between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. And first meal is typically around 10. I'm trying to get that first meal in and then go to the gym. I tend to perform much better in the gym having had some food, most people, but I tend to get a little bit dizzy, I've noticed, if I'm not well hydrated and haven't had enough food. So, and that's just happened always, that's not even just a deficit thing. So I thought, it's really important that I'm doing everything that I can to maintain my muscle mass in this prep. So let's make sure, I've got the time to do this as well. Let's make sure I'm well fueled before my training session. So that is what I'm doing there. In terms of the results, I think last week at least, we were only 100 grams behind where I needed to be. So I think the way my coach has got it planned out, I probably should make sure this is right, because I think we're aiming for a 300 gram loss each week. Of course, that's not going to be linear, so it's going to be up and down, but on average 300 grams down a week, which will get me to where we think my stage weight should be, and which is going to be a couple kilos heavier than last time, which is kind of cool. And I think I have built that muscle so that I'll be just as lean but more jacked, hopefully. I'll want to say something on that, but roughly 300 grams a week, and we're only about 100 grams behind that. And I think we might end up 200 grams behind that now this week. But again, we're, yes, okay, 30% deficit, but I'm just not doing that much movement, 12,000 steps a day and 2 20-minute cardio sessions is jack shit in my book, for a comp prep and what I know typically we need to do. I'm not particularly muscular, and it's really exciting to see that we've still got plenty of cards to play. Last night, or this morning actually, at 5 a.m, I woke up with the most intense stomach pain. It wasn't the most intense. It was probably a 5 out of 10. I think it was just hunger. And yeah, I woke up at 5, really a lot of pain. It lasted for an hour and then it died down. But I was like, yeah, it's starting. Like it's really starting to hit this week. So yeah, that was that. But it's fine. I feel good. I feel fine. And I think it's just a matter for me now if I'm having to pull back on my obligations or responsibilities. So of course, work comes first, but personal stuff is all gone. And that's fine. And I've just looking at my calendar. I got my calendar in front of me. I've got a whole lot of stuff weekends now until show. So like I'm going to my client Jess's posing session on not this weekend, next weekend. Then I've got a group posing session. Then I've got another group posing session the following weekend. Then I've got posing. And then it's like, I think 2 weeks and then flying to Sydney for Jess's show. And then it's like, oh no, I've got a client's powerlifting meet as well. It's just there from next weekend. It's just every single weekend I have commitments to do with either my work or competing. So it's going to be crazy. So yeah, personal life is just gone for the moment and that's fine. In terms of work responsibilities, I'll still be taking clients for another 3 weeks, I think, and then I'll close that off. So if you're wanting help with coaching, just make sure you let me know ASAP so we can get you all started and underway. And then I think 4 to 5 weeks out from show date. So yeah, in about 4 weeks time, I'll shut that all off too. So everyone has worked with me for a while. And I know no one's going to need phone calls and lots of great assistance just for that last 4-week period. I said before that I'm not the most muscular and I am really excited for these shows. And I'm really excited to do well. Like I really want to do well. I want my posing to be on point. I want to look the part. I want to carry myself well. I really want to do very well at this show. And I want to completely beat the last package I bought. And I think that I can already tell I don't have anywhere near the shoulders and I don't have anywhere near the glutes. So, and it was kind of a look at myself too with, I really didn't give my off season everything. And I decided to compete in August 2020. I decided I was going to come back to bikini. And so I've known since then that this is what I wanted to do. And you can say, yeah, lockdowns and all of that shit, but I had the equipment that I needed and I did train. It's just that my effort and intensity in the sessions weren't there. And in terms of my adherence to my macros, it's just super flexible. And this brings me up to a really interesting topic, which is last time I was so on point and just new to the sport. That's why I was so small. But I was so on point because I was completely desperate, not to be good at the sport, but to get this physique I thought was going to make me happy. Now that I've realized that doesn't exist, I've got to admit the desperation isn't there in terms of my physique, which is a problem. It's not good. But I want to have that same level of fire for the competitive side of the sport. Does that make sense? So it's good that it's gone in terms of my self-worth, but it does mean there is not a desperation about me anymore. And yeah, it's good in terms of my self-worth and my emotional health, but in terms of a competitive sense, I need to find my fire. I need to find that thing that's bigger than myself so that come off season, I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to build bigger shoulders. I'm going to build bigger glutes. And then whenever I decide to compete again, whether that's next year or the year after, I'm going to actually have a full bikini physique because, like I said, as I'm coming in leaner now, I still think I look fantastic and I still think I look way better than last time, but I'm just nowhere near the standard I want for myself and I can already see it. So my goal right now is that is what it is. I can only work on that in off season. I can preserve as much mass as I can now, but I can only build in an off season. So I'm just, all of my effort and focus and attention now is going to be on my posing routine and my mindset and, making sure everything else, because bikinis, the glam stuff, makeup, all that, hair, I just want it all to be beautiful. So then I know in that sense, I didn't leave any stone unturned. And then I know come off season, I am going to find a fire and it's going to light me up for my glutes and my shoulders to come in more competitively. And maybe the judges will say there's other muscle groups that I need to improve on or whatever. And that's fine. It's like all I can control now is from here on in, what can I do? It's like give my training sessions my all, give my posing sessions my all, make sure I fine tune all of the details, and we're coming into a place that I'm really, really happy with. So it's just a really interesting thing to go, you know what, sometimes these negative beliefs about ourselves can provide so much fire. And like, I'm very glad it's not there anymore. I think it allows me to be a better coach, a more well-rounded human, and just enjoy this prep process. And yet at the same time, I know I need some fire in the off season. So I'm going to be working on that. So I think that's really it for the update. Next time I jump in, I do want to talk to you about some body image stuff, which was really interesting that came through, and we can just have a chat about that. And maybe in the comments, we can talk about it together too. But for now, I'm feeling really good. I've got the 2 shows coming up. So one's 9 weeks out. I think the other one's like 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13 or 12 weeks out. And if you have any questions, pop them in the comments below. And I just want to say thank you again so much for being here.